Hey there, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to the Nook. For today's workout of the week, it's a yoga flow, but we're really focusing on opening up through our hips. So many of us sit a lot of the day for work, and this one feels great at the end of the day, just to open everything up so you can sleep a little bit better and have a little bit more comfort. We're gonna start on the floor today. You can have a yoga mat, but you don't need one. I'm gonna start in a tabletop. We're gonna line up our shoulders over our wrists, our hips over our knees. We're gonna start with a simple cat-cow. So inhale, gaze towards the ceiling, tail goes to the sky. Exhale, ground everything, pull everything towards the midline of your body, tuck your chin to your chest, and then simply reverse it. So the inhale brings you up, looking up. The exhale tucks it all away. And then one more just like that. And then tuck it away. Bring your right hand out in front, your left leg back, but keep it on the ground. I want you to square your hips towards the earth, and then simply lift your arm, thumb towards the sky. Find your balance first, and then lift the leg. So the first part here, we're just gonna pause. Then we're gonna bring it out to the side, back to the center. Leg is pretty straight, arm is pretty straight, and then back to the side. So already opening up through your hip in a way you probably haven't done yet today, if I could guess. This time we'll go back to the center, lift it, and squeeze it in. So a little bit of core engagement, just two more of those. And then this time we lift it out to the side. This time the leg goes towards the side and then lands on the ground, and we rock back and forth. I'm gonna show you from the front just so you can see what it looks like. So we're here and rocking back and forth. So now if you have hip mobility and you're open, you can sit it way back to like a modified child's pose if that feels good. Most of us do not. So just find a sticky spot and rock and roll into it. Just bringing some awareness to that middle of your body. And then tuck it back in. I'll square off just because I have space. Stretch that right leg back, left arm forward, and then do the same. Left arm reaches, find the balance, square the hips towards the earth, and then lift that back leg. Breathe and hold, and then bring it to the side. Back to the center, and then out to the side, to the center, to the side, and then this time we reach long with your arm and your leg, lift up and squeeze it to the midline. Little crunch. Inhale, we reach. Exhale, we squeeze. Inhale, we reach. Exhale, we squeeze. This time we reach and we bring that leg back out to the side and we rock and roll. Getting into that right side of your hip. And then once again, if you're welcomed it back and you laid back into a child's pose, if you're super bendy, head it that way. Otherwise, find a sticky spot and rock back and forth. And then we'll tuck it under. Walk your hands out in front a little bit. We're gonna find our first downward facing dog. So this downward facing dog is an upside down letter V with our body. You can pedal out your feet, get a feel for what it is to be inverted. Then we'll inhale out to plank just to check your positioning. So make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. Adjust as you need to. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale back, downward facing. Inhale forward to plank. This one will hold. If the full plank is too much, always welcome to drop to your knees for part of it. In this practice, we won't be doing chaturangas, but if you'd like to throw one in here and there, you're more than welcome to. But we won't be doing those today. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step it through to find a low lunge. So one hand on each side of that foot, untuck your back toe, and then walk your hands up to your knees, or all the way up to extend. Gaze can be out in front. It can be up, adding a little back bend, really stretching out through this back hip flexor. And then your next exhale will shoot back to half split. I like to to rotate my arms around, just open up through my shoulders, then send my hips back. And maybe they touch the floor, maybe they're on your hips, or if you have blocks on blocks. Either way, flex through this front foot, pull the left hip back, right hip forward, and then think I'm gonna shine my heart towards my shin. So it's not necessarily forehead to a knee, just feeling that opening through the back of your leg. And your next inhale, we send it back to that low lunge. And then we'll circle our arms around. This time we just plant our hands, step that left leg back, and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, step it through. Drop through that left leg, untuck the toe. Walk your hands up to that knee or all the way above. And the left side gets a stretch. Gaze straight, gaze up, maybe a little back bend. What does your body need today? Next, inhale, circle those arms all the way back. Open up to your chest. Press back through that right leg and find your half split. Pulling the right hip back, left hip forward. And once again, think heart shining towards your shin, not necessarily need head to your knee. So it's not about how far we fold, it's about how long can we make this hamstring to find this stretch that feels good, not painful, but feels good to stretch. And your next inhale, bring it forward. Find that Anjaneyasana. And then circle those arms back and around. Step back to downward facing dog. And then simply tiptoe your toes all the way up to meet your hands. And then make them wide. We're gonna find a ragdoll. So feet can turn out slightly. Mine are about as wide as my yoga mat. Bend your knees, relax your upper body. Shake your head yes, shake it no. Maybe even reach for opposite elbows and find a little sway. Yes, this is a hamstring opener, but more so releasing your lower back than anything. And let your head just be heavy. And then we'll release our hands, heel toe our feet together, big toes touch, little space between your heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive all the way to the top, squeezing everything together. Reach that right hand to your left wrist and add a little side body bend. So glutes are engaged, hips are tight, squeezing, stabilizing, and then inhale, center, exhale, pull to the right. Inhale, center, pull to the left, keeping your chest open. Inhale, center, exhale, right. Sorry, left, right hand. Inhale, and then swan dive it all the way back through. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step back to your plank, where we hold once again. And then this time we're gonna lift our left leg slightly off the mat and then step it to the outside of our left hand to find this lizard. So you're more than welcome to stay on that back foot. It's a little bit more challenging. If you're looking for more of a stretch than a strength, drop the back knee down, sink into those hands, maybe even sink into those forearms and find that lizard stretch. Now, the trick of this lizard stretch is I can get low if my knee splays to the side, but I'm gonna hug it towards my left tricep. So I'm gonna come up a little higher and hug it in towards this left tricep. We'll switch it in a moment, but start with this traditional form of lizard. And then I'll have you turn your left foot out. I'm gonna actually show you camera side so you can see what it's looking like. So traditional lizard, hugging it in. Now I'm gonna have you turn your knee out and maybe even press that knee out to the side. So make sure you turn your foot out to accommodate your knee. And then sink your hips to the floor. Maybe add a twist if it feels good. And this final expression is to reach for that back foot and come open this way. So you have a quad stretch in the back, the hip flexor stretch in the front, and then you're adding this element of the twist. If you get here and it doesn't work, just go back a step. Go to the open hip, stick with the lizard. We're here for just 2 more big breaths. And then simply step back to a plank. I'm gonna go back on my mat. You just step back to a plank, lift that right leg up, and then step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Once again, you can stay active. Back knee can lift. More of a stretch, drop it and relax it. My foot is facing perfectly forward. My knee's hugging this tricep. You can see it a lot better on this side just because of the camera angle. And then if you need to lower to find a stretch, you can lower. In yoga class, I usually have blocks that I put my forearms on because I can get a little lower, but I can't get all the way to my forearms today. So I'm gonna stay on my hands. And then I'll turn my foot out to the side, slide over so you can see it, turn it out to the side, and start with that back leg down and press and open. Maybe I can move over even a little bit more. So you can see my foot turned out, my knee turned out, and then the final expression is to bend that back leg and reach for that foot. Whether you grab it or not, you'll feel the quad stretch and maybe even the twist. Release the foot gently, set the other hand down, step it back to plank, and then simply sink your knees down wide, big toes touch, and send it into our first child's pose. Relaxing on the mat. If your forehead doesn't reach the floor, stack your hands to bring the floor to you, just so you can relax your head as much as you possibly can. Amazing. We'll come up to a comfortable seat, and then we're going to make it uncomfortable. So come up to a comfortable seat to start. And then we're going to come in to cow face. So I'm going to take my left leg and tuck it towards the ground. It's going to point straight forward. And then I'm going to take my right leg over the top and make this little face, like I have a little mouth here, like a cow. An easier way to slide into it is to slide up on your knees, spread your feet further away from your body, and then sink back into it. Sit up tall. This might be enough. For some of us, this is too much. You might need to sit on a blanket or a block or something to prop yourself up. You can wiggle your feet away from the midline, find a different stretch. And then while you're here, just stay here, or maybe you tip it forward slightly. I feel it as instantly as I get into it, so I don't need to go very far in order to try to sink into my hips and release some of that stiffness. Some teachers I work with press down through the bottoms of your feet or give a little foot massage as you're here. It's a great distraction to what's going on in your hips. And we'll simply lift up. All you got to do is lean back and switch it out. So that right one goes on the bottom, that left leg goes on top. The most important part is try to get it facing forward, and then when it wiggles to the side, it's not as bad. And then if you want to lean over the front on your legs, spread your feet away from the midline, and then sink back down. And if your knees are super far apart, that's okay. As long as you feel the stretch, not pain, the stretch through those hips, you're in the right place. And then sit up tall. And each side's different. Maybe this time, like this side is a little bit more open for me, I can fold forward. Think putting your chin over the top of your knee, like in front of your knee. Maybe you find that foot massage. This foot's a little close for me. I'm gonna wiggle it out a little bit more. And then find a spot that works for you and just breathe. It's just a few breaths. Come up slowly and we unwind. We're gonna lastly find a reclined figure four. So you'll come down into your space. To move this so you can see me. Come down onto your backs. Plant your feet And let's do one bridge just to kind of reset the hips, reset the system. Reach down, see if you can reach for your heels, and then just lift and lower. Balance out your side, kind of re-engage those glutes. And then your next time down, take your right leg over your left, flex through your right foot, and then reach through the center for this reclined figure four. Now, if you're used to doing pigeon and you'd rather do pigeon, you can. But if you never do figure four, try it. You can really get into a different space with your back relaxed and not your weight resting on your leg. Pigeon's great. I love pigeon. Well, I love to hate pigeon is what I like to say. But sometimes it's nice to change up this hip stretch, and you can press your knee away, really use your body as these simple tools that they can be. Now you can add on this bottom leg, so my left leg can go straight, and it looks like a figure four now, hence the name of this. But if it's too much on your hamstring, keep a little bend, or just have it completely down. And then as we release it, drop it to the ground. Once again, up and down with those bridges. Just like to reset the pelvis here. And then your next time down, we'll cross over that left leg, left foot, strong flex. This just protects your knee. So every time you do this, make sure you have a strong flex through that foot. And then bring that right leg towards you. You can interlace in between. You can use your elbow, you can use your hand. Your foot on your leg kind of works as a fulcrum. And then find a spot where you can just be, which is sometimes the hardest thing to do in yoga, is just to be with the pose, in the posture, with the breath. And then of course, you can add on the last extension. That bottom leg comes up. Your shoulders and your head are relaxed. So it doesn't need to be a core activity. And then slowly come out. We're going to curl ourselves into one last final tight little ball. And then extend it all for Shavasana. I promise this one's short. Don't skip it. You want your body to soak it all in. Maybe shift your hips side to side. Circle your wrists. Send your head side to side till you find a comfortable spot. And just breathe. You've arrived in Shavasana. Soak it all in. And simply begin to bring awareness to your body, to your space. Roll onto your favorite side when you're ready. And just take a brief pause there before coming up to sit. If it feels comfortable, keep your eyes closed. Find yourself into a comfortable seat. And arms come down, around, up over top. Press them together. And then down at heart center. We'll all bow and say, Namaste. Nice work. I hope that felt excellent on your hips, whether you're sitting, whether you're on your feet all day. Our hips hold so much tension, so hopefully they feel a little bit better today. Let me know in the comments what you think. Once again, I'm Sarah Parise. If you're not part of my Facebook group, it is called Time Out for Moms, Wellness Accountability and Support. I do live workouts, meditations, recipes. It's all about getting you to feel your best so you can give your best to everyone else. Go have a great day.